Okay, I think we are recording. We are good. There is more people going to be watching this replay than actually look at these noise cancellations on. This will be more people watching this replay than can be at the live session today. So I really want to make sure that I'll try not to give you guys so much of a break time, but keep pushing pause when you're watching the replay. Even if you were in the live session, push pause when you watch the replay and kind of go through it because today is a really special day. Today's super special. Today, we're going to get you started. Today, we're going to get you started. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about from what is your reason why you want to start. Let me get some people in here. People in here. What's going on? Welcome, just joining, welcome. I'm gonna make sure I prioritize talking to the people here in the live and who are watching the recording. As I said, I was like, I don't know who's on today. There's gonna be more people watching the live for sure. Watching the replay. So great to have you here in the live session. It's super early. And today is really exciting because today is gonna get you started. Hey, Sherry. Gonna get you started today. And honestly, a lot of times when I'm recording these sessions and when I'm coming up with the plan of like, what should I talk about? I've always found it best to kind of channel from how I feel, channeling from my soul. And this is something a lot of people always wonder. And so before I even get you started, knowing that a lot of content, a lot of stuff you guys are going to put out, you just speak from the heart, speak from the soul. And most of the time, it will always come through. Once we get over the fear, once we get over the limiting beliefs, is what we did in the last session. And I encourage you guys, all, if you haven't watched, like maybe some of you guys jumped in and watched just the third replay to getting started, but make sure you watch the first ones about the limiting beliefs. Because once you can get past these limiting beliefs, then everything changes. So in the easiest way that I can explain it, and I explain to my clients like this as well, is I want you to imagine you're like in the Grand Canyon. And if you don't know, the Grand Canyon is a place in America where there's these like huge rocks everywhere, and there's these crevices, long crevices. Like if you fell, it's game over, goodbye. And your limiting belief is like you being at the very bottom of this crevice. And every limited belief you remove, you go further up, and you go further up, and you go further up, and you go further up. And now you start to see a lot of things. The picture looks totally different. It's why people who are passionate about something, they finally make enough money that they're financially free, but they keep going. Because as you keep rising up, your vision, you can see more. So in the last session, as we took down the limiting beliefs, what that allows you to do is now you can see more. So someone who was scared, to maybe a lot of you might have had a limiting belief, like, I don't know if I can share, I don't know if I can start this. And once you believe that you can start this, your vision will change instantly. Someone who thinks that they can't go in the water, and who thinks they can, their life changes completely. If you think you can't go in the water, you don't even think about fishing. You don't think about snorkeling. You don't think about getting in pools. You don't even think of any of that. But now that you're willing to get in water, your world is just expanded. And that's when you get to the next stages. And we'll talk about this in a tad bit, really quick, a little bit about fear, because it starts to grow. Every level has its devil. So as you make it to the next level, now it's all of a sudden like, am I sharing too much? Which way do I diversify what I'm sharing? What do I do with all these things that I want to share with different people? And this is it's for the next session, we'll talk about it. But the whole entire goal of this session today, and I'm trying to keep these sessions short and sweet. My goal was like 15, 20 minutes. We'll go over, of course, maybe. I'm trying not to, though. Let you guys know ahead of time. But when it comes to starting, and this, I cannot stress it anymore. When it comes to starting, sharing whatever it is you want to share, start with your story. Start with your story. Like, just start with your story. Like, people doubt so much the power of their story. The power of you sharing your story is more powerful than anything else. We love to tell other people's stories. We love to tell what someone's told us. Well, what about your story? So the first piece of content I want you guys to put out, and this is a challenge because after this, I want everyone to create something. I want to come back on Tuesday. I know some of you might not watch the replay until maybe Monday or something, or if you're watching this years later, a couple days. but I want you to put a piece of content out. That's the challenge. That's the challenge for after this session. Either I recommend do it right after because you'll have the momentum going and you'll be in the right state to do it. Put it out there. And usually when people put something out there, they're just like, well, what do I even say? What do I even do? And that first question, which is a bunch of questions, stops people from even doing it. The first step always has to be easy in everything you do. If it's something new, the first step has to be easy. It has to be easy. We dropped our dog off. We went on a trip a couple months ago, but I'll never forget what this lady told us. We went on a trip a few months ago, and we left our dog at this little kennel place. It's really someone's home, and they have like 50 dogs in there, and they have a pool for the dogs. It's crazy. And we went to pick up our dog, and we see all the dogs in the pool. We're like, is our dog in there? She wasn't. And we went to the lady, and she loves dogs. She has dogs tattooed all over her arms. That's how much the lady loves dogs. And we were just looking, we're like, did she go into the pool at all? She's like, no, she didn't go in there. She just stayed on the side, and that's perfectly fine. She must not be used to it. And we were like, yeah, she actually doesn't like to go. We have to kind of make her go in the pool. She's like, oh, that's easy to change. And we're like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, if you wanted to get in the pool, you can do that. I was like, yeah, I know. I take her out there. I usually put her in the middle and let her swim out. She's like, oh, no, that's too much. We're like, what do you mean? She's like, if she wasn't in the water as a puppy, that's way too much to do. And I'm just like, okay, what do we do? She's like, what you want to do is if they're not a puppy, they've already went through this whole development of not being in the water, so they're not aware of it. She's like, these Labradors you see in the water, they were born in the water. They're puppies, and you see them, they run in the ocean. They just go straight into the huge waves, jump in there, swim around, and swim out. And she said, if you want to get her prepared, she's like, you got to just take the dog. And she's like, just try this a couple of times a day. She's like, take the dog, hold it, and just sit on the steps of the pool with her feet in the water. And just sit there for 10 minutes. She said, don't do anything. Just sit there. And I was just like, that's genius. Because we all tend to overthink things. We want to start getting in the water and we think, well, I don't want to just sit there with my feet in the water. That does nothing. I want to jump in the deep end. So then we just get ourselves ready to jump into the deep end. And then we never end up doing it. The first step must always be easy. Like just sitting there holding the dog for 10 minutes in the water. That's it. And we started to do it. And now she's not scared of the water at all. We'll say, come here. She'll come here, pick her up, put her in the water, hold her. After about 30 seconds, she calms down. We just sit there talking to her, did it this morning. Then we let her swim to the side and she goes out. And she'll do it again. But she's not scared of it. And most of the time we scare ourselves away by making that first step so difficult. That's it. And our mind has really interesting ways of putting tricks on us to make it seem difficult. Like, well, you want to go to the gym, but you need the right shoes, and then you get the right shoes, but you should get some socks to go with it. Get the right socks. What about the pants? Okay, and you get the whole outfit, and you're finally ready to go to the gym, and then it's like, do you really want to go to this gym? You look a little too nice to go here today. Do you want to sweat out this outfit? Looks pretty cool. You probably look nice just walking around and going to the mall. It's always going to be testing you like this. So when it comes to starting, you got to make the first step easy. Start with your story. So what I want you all to do, and if you're watching this, like I say, years later, do this and then watch the next session. Don't watch the next session without doing this. I promise you, you'll probably get nothing out of this program or anything you ever do if there's not action taken. If I want to train you to get in shape, if you don't switch your diet up and stop putting toxins in you and start drinking more water, it's not going to work. Like this, you have to take the action. Knowledge doesn't mean anything. We think if I know more, then I'll be okay. It's the action you take. You could scratch everything that I say, listen to this next 30 seconds that I'm going to say, and you're good with the program. When this is over, take the massive scary action. Start whatever it is you want to start, film the video, record the podcast, write the blog post, keep it simple, keep it a minute, keep it 30 seconds, write your first blog post, make it 2 sentences, record your first podcast, make it just 1 minute long, jump on your live session and just on your Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is you want to start, just do a live session, do it. Because you're going to learn more in what it takes for you to overcome. The person you need to become to do it is going to teach you more than you'll ever learn in any other program. You have to do it. That's it. Just do it. Just write that on your paper or write Nike, the Nike check. Just do it. Because I promise you, you won't get out of this program what you want to get if you don't take this action. It's scary and it should be. Now you know it. So when you feel scared, know that it's perfectly normal. It's because you're expanding yourself. And when you expand yourself, you grow. Growing is uncomfortable. There's a term for it called Osgood-Schlatters. This is something that I had. It was in my knees growing up because I was growing so fast and my knees would just hurt really bad. I'd have to ice them all the time from like the age of 15 to 17. And then it just kind of went away and they're like, oh, you're just growing really fast. So it's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable. So start with your story. How should you start? Who are you? If I'm making a video right now, I can share it exactly what I do. If I'm about to make a video, I would literally start my video off like, oh, hi, my name is Luke, and I just really have been putting this off for a long time, making this video. Or I'm Luke, I've been putting this really off for a long time, recording this podcast, but I really wanted to make these to try to empower you guys. I just think that a lot of people could use help, and I want to make these videos sharing my story, sharing my experiences, the good and the bad, and I just want to make this to help benefit you all. See you in the next episode. That's it. So you guys watching the replay, you can record that, watch this again, and do that same thing. And that's simple, because what's going to happen is it's always easier the second time because you know more. You know you're going to be nervous. And I'm going to tell you a secret about being nervous, and I use this all the time. You're always nervous when you care. I'm nervous about this program. I was really nervous on day one of the program, really nervous. I knew a lot of people want to be live. I knew that more people be watching the replay, and I can't really feel the energy of people in the replay like I really want to. I thought like, what should I talk about the first day? Should I teach them just start with their story on the first? I had all these thoughts. And it's just like, that's normal. You care. So of course you want to get it perfect. Of course you want it right. Of course you want it to be great. But like that, it's like take the massive scary action. What does that look like? What does that look like? Something you should think about when you're doing this program you're going to be starting, whatever it is you're going to do, or podcast, video, whatever. Think of what's the feeling you want the people to have. Go into this with this mindset. What's the feeling I want them to feel? So if I'm starting a podcast, or I'm starting a YouTube, or I'm starting a blog, what's the feeling I want the other person to have? Because when you're scared, when you're fearful, when you are like, I don't know, you're judging yourself, all this happens because you're thinking of yourself. But if you can think about the feeling that you want the other person to have listening, when I'm here, I want to be a blessing. That's my, you guys know that's my thing. I want to be a blessing. And because I say I want to be a blessing, I have no pressure on me. I want to be a blessing. Maybe I say just one thing in this entire program that changes everything for you. And it's like, oh, I heard one speaker say, it's never about what someone says that changes your life. It's what they say, and it makes you think about something. And that's what changes your life. So I'm like, that will work. That will be perfect. So I want you to think about, you want to see the end result. See the end result. It's seeing, you always need to look at it, seeing through what it is you want to do. So it's like when I do this program, and I do like these, I do this thing called priming every morning, and I see what it is. I see the thing that I want in the future, and I see it as done. And I feel what it feels like to finish Project Start and to have everyone with their results. And I see what it's like to, that relief as soon as I'm done, just like, that was great. People are empowered. And I feel that feeling as if I'm there. And that's what you have to do. Most people don't even feel the feeling. They just stop right before and talk themselves out of it. You got to see what you want and see through it. And the most beautiful example, and I said I wouldn't tell too many stories because I wanted to keep this really short and sweet, but a great example, I can't remember exactly what the name of the show was, but it's a show of these billionaires that's run by Richard Branson, I believe, or it could have been a challenge he had, but one of the billionaires there was Sara Blakely. And I've told this story many times on my social media, but it's very powerful. And they have all these billionaires about to jump, and they're doing all these extreme things that they've never done. And one of the things they had to do was they'd stand at the edge of a cliff, there'd be a safety net, and there was a guy just hanging from a crane, hanging down. And they all had to jump and grab onto the guy. That's what they had to do. They had to jump and grab onto him. And he was pretty far away. And the first person goes and jumps, misses completely. Second one jumps, just touches his shoes, and they go down. Third one, same thing. Fourth one, exact same. And then there was Sara Blakely. And Sara Blakely started back, and she was the most unathletic person. And she runs, and she just jumps, and she grabs onto around under his arms, then she slides down, and then she just is right holding onto his stomach like this, and then she beats the challenge. She gets the challenge. And as they're interviewing all these people at the bottom, after they kind of lowered her down and they interviewed, like, so what? Like everyone's like, what did you do, Sarah? And then before she could answer, they come around with the interview, and it's like they asked all the people, like, what did you do? You know, they're like, I just leaped with everything I had. The next person, I looked at my target and I ran straight forward and I just missed it. The next person, I just ran and jumped as far as I could. And then the fourth person was like, you know, I ran, I saw it, I knew I could jump, and I just didn't get there. And Sara Blakely was finally interviewed. I'm like, what did you do? You made it easily, and you're not even used to this. And she's like, yeah, I just did something different than everyone else. And everyone's like, what do you do? She's like, I looked at the guy hanging there, and she's like, I looked past him about 10 feet and I jumped. And everyone was just like shocked, like, what? She's like, yeah, I looked beyond him and jumped. Because, and that shows you their mindsets are great because they're all billionaires and they have really amazing mindsets, but no one said that. She looked beyond the target. And that's what you have to do. You have to feel what it feels like beyond it. And when you feel it, that's when you become confident, and you want to get that feeling. But to get that feeling, you got to go through it. So starting with your story is a perfect way. It makes it super easy. Feel what it feels like to tell your story. Like, how could it help the world, your story? How would it benefit someone? Like, and to tell your story and to not skip ahead too far and don't go too far back. I tell you guys stories that are very relevant to what we're talking about, but I try not to go too far back because then people don't understand. And I try not to go too far ahead because it's like, well, wait, where are we in the story? Like, what happened? Like, you wanted to do what? Talk about your story, where you are, why you want to start this, what you hope to achieve. And when you do this, this is when everything starts to happen, because you've taken this massive, scary action. And massive, scary action is always, always rewarded. You know, I think fortune favors the bold is one of the quotes. And when you don't share it, there's always that. We talked about limiting beliefs, but I want to just touch on something because there's mirror beliefs as well. And the mirror belief is like, well, if you believe this, then you must also believe this. So someone who says, I really want to help people in this world, but they don't want to share their story, believes that their story can help someone in this world. But then if they really think about it, they're like, actually, my story can help a lot of people in this world. So now you've connected the circle, but you're not doing one of the things that connects the circuit. You have a broken circuit, which is why people feel like it's civil war with themselves, because they feel like they should be doing something. Like I told you guys to ask yourself the question, what's life about? And if you're not doing something in what you truly believe deep down your life is about, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle because there's a part of you that's just like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And understand that the whole time, and we talked about this as well last week, but I want to reiterate it this week, or last session, but I want to reiterate it on this session, is that the fear will always be there. The fear will always be there. I'm perfectly fine with this program. I don't need to make a note. I can just literally push record and I can just go about telling your story because I'm so passionate about it. But at the same time, there's this fear, like, well, I don't know, maybe I could say something different. Like if I would have done this program a year ago, I would have been so excited with it, but I'm nowhere near where I was a year ago. And this is much better than this would have been if I did it a year ago. And then that makes me think like, well, that's scary because next year when I run the same program, it's going to be so different because I will have learned so much. Maybe I just don't, it's always there. You just learn to walk with it because you can walk with fear, or you can walk away with fear, but it's always there. Someone who's scared of a dog, maybe they don't have a dog, but they're still scared of dogs. And imagine the things that they miss out on. And then something I want you to add into it as you go into this, about to start what it is that you know you should be doing, is understanding that your emotions matter. Your emotions matter. And your emotions is always linked to the meaning you attach to it. So if you attach to it like, I don't know, if I post this, here goes my reputation, it's the end. People are gonna laugh at me, it's gonna joke, and now it's not gonna be cool. Your emotions are gonna bring you really scared and fearful. If you go into creating this thing like, this is the beginning of a new life for me without fear. This is a beginning of something new. I'm walking with this fear, excuse me, a better way to say it. Because if you look at something like it's the end or it looks like it's the beginning, that's a different feeling. If you look at your relationship like it's the beginning or it's the end, you act different. If you treat this sharing yourself out there to the world as the beginning of a brand new life, or you see it as the end of life as you know it, it's totally different, completely different feeling. And I want you to think about it. Will your story help or hurt other people? Because if you think about it, you'll realize that your story will help so many people. And what if you were to just focus on how much it helped other people? What if you just focused on that? If you focused on how much my experiences and mistakes that I've made growing up, if you focus on how much that would help, that would change a lot. You know, and as I was writing today, I was like, I don't want to forget this quote. And it's something one of my friends told me a long time ago. And I can't remember what the context was. I do remember we were walking up this huge hill at my university. And I said I didn't feel like doing something. And I can't remember what it was. It could have been going to the gym that night. I think that's what it was. I was going to the gym that night. And I was walking this girl, I was walking her back to her place. And it might have been 11, 12 o'clock at night. And in college, my last 2 years, I was in the gym every night, usually around midnight until 1 in the morning most nights. Sometimes I go in there a little earlier, like 11 or something, after I finished practice and did my homework. Sounds crazy, homework. Man, another life. But as I did that, I remember saying I didn't really want to go to the gym. And I remember her name was Jenna, and she was an athlete as well. And she's like, Luke, I know the feeling a lot. She's like, but sometimes you have to, I think she's like, you got to remember that it's easier to act your way into a feeling than to feel your way into an action. I'll say it one more time. It's easier to act your way into feeling than feeling your way into an action. Because I didn't want to go to the gym. There's a lot of nights I didn't want to go to the gym. So a lot of us, we wait for that feeling. We sit around. So many of you guys want to start something. You've waited all this time to start it, but you don't know what you're going to start, how you're going to start it. So you're just waiting to start it. And you're waiting for that feeling to come, so then you act. But what if you acted and then the feeling came? Because if you act your way into the feeling, that happens a lot. I do it a lot. I remember one day my teammate we were warming up, and I'll never forget this. He was one of my best friends as well. He came to me like, Luke, you okay? We were warming up in the layup lines, and I wasn't dunking the ball. I just was laying it up, just like it was cold. I remember the gym. We had a 7-hour trip there, and I just was laying it up normal. I'm like, I'll save all my energy for the game. And he's like, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And I laid it up again, and he's like, hey, stop, come here. I was like, yeah. He's like, bro, I know you're cold. It's not cool, the gym. He's like, but just try to warm up hard. He's like, if you just trick your body into doing it, you'll do it and you'll feel amazing. And I was like, fine, whatever. And I go and run and I dunk the ball. And I was like, oh, that felt kind of good. Next time around, I dunk it again. And then my teammates started doing it because energy is contagious. And then we all started doing this, and everyone's energy was raised completely. And then I felt like playing, but we're like, oh, we got 16 minutes left on the clock before the game starts. But that's acting into the feeling, because feeling into the action never feels right. You'll always feel off. So the question I want to ask you guys before we finish here is, what is the easiest, how should I phrase this? What is the easiest first step possible? What is the easiest first step possible? And I can give you guys if you guys are watching this in 2021 or 2022, probably the same, and probably for the rest of the world, or for the rest of the years, in our years that we'll all be alive, it's your phone. Everything is here. It starts with here, most likely. What's the first step you can do? If you want to start it, make a YouTube video or a video for some other platform, record a video on your phone. Take your phone, record a video. It scares you, I know, but that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to get the results from this. Not just learning how to start something and never do it. You can break that habit, break that pattern now by starting. As soon as this is over, you can consciously make that decision. Look at your limiting beliefs if they're still there. If your limiting beliefs don't come up again, then you're perfect. If they keep coming up again, we'll keep asking yourself, is this true? Is it the truth? Am I horrible on video, or do I just judge myself so harshly? Think about these things because it's big and it holds you back. You can download YouTube, you can upload a video straight from your phone. If you want to write a blog post, you can open your notes app on your phone, type out 5 sentences why you want to do it, upload it from your phone. If you want to get a podcast, you can literally download an app called Anchor, set your podcast up in 30 seconds, record it on your phone, and upload it from your phone. It'll be on all the platforms. That's simple. I can't even think of any other ways to share. Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is on your phone. So what's the first step possible? The easiest first step possible. It'd be to look at your phone almost in the world we live in and push record. That's the first step. You're gonna probably make mistakes. You're gonna feel nervous because it's something new that you're doing. So recognize that. You're gonna be scared. You're gonna be nervous. You're gonna not want to do it. You're gonna want to record it 5 or 6 times. But that's okay. Put it out there the first time, you'll understand like that's the one that really counts because that's what people will relate to. I have a client and we went over this a lot, and they posted these videos and they sent me a bunch of videos and like, I don't know which one to post. I'm like, post them all. Let people see, because you're going to look back on it in 4 or 5 years and think that, wow, I had no idea what I was doing. I look back at some of my YouTube videos from 4 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing. And I kept them up there. So people who are in that position can go back to my very first video and see like, oh, wow, he just used his phone. He sat outside of the Arc de Triomphe in Barcelona on his bike, and he recorded a video with his headphones. I had like these corded headphones and I just recorded. Literally what I'm telling you is the blueprint that I used. And it's the blueprint that I use to this day. And then you get to a point where sharing is not a problem. Now, like I say, every level has a devil. And now the next level is like, well, when do I want to post? How often do I want to do this? Is this fun for me to share it like this? I've made a lot of videos, so maybe it's better I start making a video on another platform, keep it fun. Because you want it to be fun. It should be fun. When it's fun, it changes your energy. Like I'm having fun right now. This is fun for me. Before this, I was watching a TV show, 24 is my favorite show. And I would love to just keep on watching the show, but I was excited for this. I was excited to come here. And before that, I had to take my bike into the shop because I was having all these problems with my bike. And I was there and just like, and I even made an thing on my Instagram, like, I'm in the shop all day, but we're starting. We're starting in like 57 minutes, I think it was at the time. And I was excited to do it. And you have to ask yourself, what is the most fun way for you to do it? Maybe posting every day isn't fun for you. Maybe there's times when recording a podcast every day is fun for me. I like it. Every other day, I'll just jump on there and record a podcast. Sometimes it's not fun. And I know myself now, and I'm like, I got a busy week next week. It's not going to be fun for me to try to record in between all this. So I'm like, I'm going to record like 6 podcast episodes today. And that's what I do. I knock out 6 or 5 or 3, whatever I feel. I have a podcast day where I'm just like, all these notes that I have on my phone, these thoughts that I have, I just record a bunch of episodes. Maybe the episode is 3 minutes, maybe it's 15 minutes, whatever it takes. Then I save it. Then I record another one. Then I take a break. I watch a show. I see something in a TV show that reminds me of something, push pause, and I record another podcast episode. Because it's fun for me to do it that way. But it may not be fun for you to do it that way. You got to find which way is fun for you. But the thing is, a lot of times we try to do that before we actually do it. Because you don't know what's fun for you because if you haven't done it yet. You got to do it. Take the scary action. And then ask yourself, what is the most fun way? Try putting out videos or podcasts every other day. Try that for a week. And then see how you like it. Because it might be more fun than you think. So I'm proud of myself, kept this to almost under 30 minutes. So the goal, the assignment for all of you here, and very important that you do this because we're going to go over it on Monday. I want to answer, or Tuesday at 9. I want to answer all of your questions if anything comes up. What I do encourage you guys, if you're watching this replay, please leave me a comment, send me an email more so of what came up for you when you posted this. Maybe we could do that. You can ask the live. I know a lot of you guys won't be in the live session, but if you're watching the replay, send me an email or leave it a comment and tell me what it was that came up for you. What was kind of the struggle that came up for you? And we'll go over it next week. Because next week we're going to refine it. But if you don't post it, it won't make sense to you. What we're going to talk about on Tuesday, So post it, share it. There's going to be some things that will come up. I know them, but I don't want to say it right now. I'll tell you guys on Tuesday, and you guys can see, like, did that really happen? Did I feel like that? And more importantly, I want you to think about like Sarah Blakely when she jumped. See after it's done. Think about yourself, how you're going to feel after you've posted it, after you've shared it, after you've created it. Imagine what it feels like for the people who are receiving it. Imagine what it feels like 5 years from now when you look back on it. Imagine how proud you're going to be once you do that. Because, my friends, it's not about all this stuff we're going to learn along the journey. It's not about the way we're going to do things and the how and all this kind of stuff. It's about the journey. It's about who you become. Like 2020 wasn't about what you did. 2020 was like, who did you become in 2020? Did you become a happier person, a more sad person, a more fearful person? Because that matters. So by doing this and starting this program, what is it going to make you, or your content? What is it going to make you? Because it's who you have to become to do it, and who you become after you've done it. And I want that feeling for you all, because I know you all have stories. You have so much going on, and you've been through so much. Like, let other people be helped and benefited by what you've gone through. So start this weekend. Not because of motivation, not because you heard me like, yeah, Luke got me motivated, I'm gonna do it. Not because of that. That's nothing. Motivation goes away really quick. But start this weekend because it's what you've truly wanted to do for a long time. And you didn't know why you couldn't until this program. And you saw your beliefs laid out. And start it because that's what your heart wants. It's what your soul wants. Do it for that reason. Get out of your head. When you go in your head, you're dead. Listen to your heart and soul. They're leading you. You all sign up for this program for a reason. Start. Master scary action. Take the master scary action. It will be scary, and it should be scary. That's why everyone doesn't do it. But that will be the reason why you do it. That's a good one, Anna. Oh, that was a good one. Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? Are we good? We're good? Short and sweet is okay? Yeah, I tried to do even less. My mind was like, I want to get this to like 15 minutes of potent content. But I'm working on it. Maybe next session will be like 10 minutes. If I can do that, that'll be amazing. Start this weekend. Anything comes up, send me an email, send me a message, reach out to me, just title it Project Start so I know to look at it, get started. And I'm excited for you of what you're gonna feel after you finally put it out there. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday, okay? Thank you for watching. Take care. And you watching the replay, guys, thank you so much, and see you in the next session. Ciao.